Huh. Damn, that really takes me back to the good old days of Animal Crossing on the GameCube. It almost makes me want to check out my town and see how things are holding up. There are cockroaches everywhere! Oh my god, it's a pigsty.
And I...
This year, after waiting almost 7 years since New Leaf, even though we actually had Pocket Camp and Happy Home Designer to keep us at bay, we're finally getting a new Animal Crossing for the Switch. I have this strange relationship with Animal Crossing. I've never been too keen on life simulators. Even with The Sims being so big, I never actually experienced it for myself, aside from watching relatives playing it. The idea of doing monotonous things I do in real life inside of a game was never really a top priority of mine. Perhaps that's why I gravitated more towards Animal Crossing. I wasn't just planting a garden, buying real estate, and becoming my own mayor of my own town, but I did all those things with a cute little nose and cute animals around me. Call me a sucker for aesthetics, but Animal Crossing was a game I'd pick up and play every so often on my GameCube, maintaining the state of my town, killing cockroaches, a whole shebang. It basically broadened my appreciation for life simulators. I had that same amount of fun playing New Leaf, probably even more so because the game was exclusively on a handheld device, so I now had the privilege of leaving my home and playing the game on the go at my own whim. Having Animal Crossing on a handheld device like the 3DS allowed more players to fully immerse themselves in the game, as it was now an on-the-go device where you'd be able to complete daily tasks and challenges conveniently in the same way you do for various app games on the go. Why would I water my Farmville on the subway and waste data when I could just go fishing and shake some trees for fruit for the low price of, what was it, $50? Is that how much New Leaf costed? I don't remember. And then Pocket Camp came along for our cellular devices, but that's a whole other beast I'm not trying to tackle right now. I'm talking about handheld Nintendo devices. It's kind of bittersweet to think back on a time when it wasn't really possible to merge an at-home console with handheld technology. And I know what you're thinking. Bittersweet? You fucking stupid? The 3DS still lives on, you scrubs. I get it. The promise of being able to take your Wii U into another room without disruption was enough to have portable consoles shaking in their boots. And then that hit the fan real quick, only for the perfected Nintendo Switch to come along a couple years later. Let's be honest, even though there's a lot of back and forth about the longevity and life cycle of the 3DS, a lot of parents are probably going to be buying their kids a Nintendo Switch from now on, just to be able to keep up with all the new releases. Even with the huge price drop that we saw with the 3DS. The 3DS is still very alive and well, but in the same breath, have you seen the games on their website? It ain't looking so good, Chief. We live in an age now where portability and accessibility is in high demand. People want to take their at-home experiences out into the world. People want the all-in-one experience. You know, I feel so far removed from that mindset. I'm still that weirdo that would rather listen to music on my MP3 player instead of on an all-in-one device like a cell phone. You know, like a normal person would. I'm just not very big on all-in-one integration. But like, I'm not trying to be like a purist or anything like that. I just feel like I'm in that small minority of people who just kind of like to keep my stuff separate, but that is definitely not the way the world is moving, and I'm totally okay with that. Thinking about the 3DS is like having a fond memory of a person that you forgot almost passed away, and then you're like, oh yeah, they died like 8 years ago, what the fuck? This is because the legacy and nostalgia left behind by the handheld device is still remembered fondly by so many people, and that legacy continues in consoles like the new Nintendo consoles. Heck, I'll never forget my memories with these early devices. They grew up and so did we, and when they were in their infancy, we had to make do with what we had, and at the time, we didn't complain because we had no idea of the capability of these devices. You think I was sitting in the backseat of my parents' car during a late drive thinking, oh man, I can't see the screen? Not really. Well, I mean, kind of. I would use the passing streetlights as we drove in order to see what was happening on my screen. And at the time, just being able to play a game in my parents' car at the end of a long night was enough for me. As innovations came along, like the light on the Game Boy Advanced SP, we just kind of went with the flow. When the DS came along, that was a game changer. And when the 3DS came along, I remember being like, wow, what could possibly come next? Alternate reality cards? You gotta be kidding me! Nintendo Switch is learning from its predecessors too, and isn't just implementing old techniques out of nostalgia, but because they know that this stuff still resonates with people, and that sometimes simplicity works. The experiences we had with the 3DS and older devices aren't diminished and can always be revisited at our own leisure. The creation of the Switch and its molding of at-home portability just opens up the doors for more choices for us. I don't know, I guess I just wanted to say I still really love the 3DS. I love the Nintendo DS, the Game Boy Advanced SP, the Game Boy Color, everything under the sun. I think if we can still enjoy old school retro games off of modern devices, then the world is definitely still open arms to older devices. And never feel out of place on the subway if you ever decide to pull out your Game Boy Advanced. You don't owe nobody nothing. Because in my books, there's always gonna be room for more. Okay, rant over. Alright, that's all the time I've got. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS.